Hello, and welcome to That's Just Human, a podcast that explores all aspects of being human, living in a human body, and dealing with life's obstacles. We come and bring you stories, tools, help you learn to step into your authentic self by learning about other stories and accepting the humanness that simply is you. I am Elisha Light Angel. I'm a licensed massage therapist, among other things, and that's given me quite a bit of time of learning about the human body, hearing people's experiences. Not to mention, I have had an entire life myself, and so I've had over 40 years of learning how to live in my body and all of the processes that come with that. So, welcome to today. We are featuring Chelsea, a talented songwriter and singer, and she's bringing us a little bit about her story. She's currently on hospice at the moment, and she is quite an inspiration. And she's going to give us her story about how she got to this point in her life and how she's taking it, and truly an inspiration. If this is a little triggering, just know that we are talking to somebody in hospice, and that's what our episode is about today. Hello, Chelsea. Welcome to That's Just Human. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast and being willing to share your story, not just with me, but with other people. I think you're such a huge inspiration, and you might hear my cat throughout the episode. She's on the other side of the door back there. Well, we want to hear your story because you have quite an incredible story. And right now, for the audience to know, Chelsea is on hospice indefinitely until she decides to not be. And um, she is so peaceful about it. I think that all of us can really learn a really big, huge lesson from her. And she's here to let us know what it's been like to live her life in her body and how that's transpired over the years. So go ahead and maybe start at the beginning, like how this started for you, and let us in on that.
Well, hi, I'm Chelsea. I have something called congestive heart failure, which I was not born with. It's something that you acquire as you age. But I was born with a congenital heart defect. And so from 9 months old, I had my first heart surgery. And from there just began a long medical journey. And I'm at this point now.
Okay. So what has that been like from like when you first found out about this? How did you take that news?
About the congestive heart failure,
Yeah.
I feel like it was hard to come to grips with at first. Um, I had trouble embracing my mortality, and so it took me a while to fully accept my condition. Um, I pushed myself really hard in my 20s, even though I knew I had congestive heart failure. And I feel like that's because I was having a little bit of a hard time reconciling with that. But now I feel at peace about it. I feel like very used to my condition. And so it's not as striking or as surprising to me when things come up now.
Did it Did you have any, I guess, depression with it or anything like that at the beginning? And then how did you overcome that through your process?
Yes, I had a lot of depression. Music has helped me so much. Singing has always been a tool that I've used to self-soothe. And so, just even the act of singing, it relaxes your diaphragm. It serves your it soothes your prefrontal cortex. And um, so I really got to give it to that. And then also I have a really big spiritual and prayer life. So I believe in Jesus and I walk with him daily. And that's something that brings me a lot of joy and peace and satisfaction.
That's awesome. Um, so, for the audience to know, Chelsea is an amazing voice, and she and I met 12, 13 years ago. It's been a hot minute, and I knew her before she had been sharing her songs with everyone, and it was shortly after that we came into the same community. She started sharing this beautiful medicine music, and we will put a link to her YouTube channel in the show notes so you can go and listen to the amazing music, and it could be really healing for you. Um, how did you start writing this music?
I feel like it started to write itself. The earliest memory I have singing, I was 3 years old, swinging on a swing set and just singing to God. And I just remember the lyrics just coming, just flowing out of me. And that's something that has ha has been able to happen. I feel like I can just channel, so to speak. Um, there have been times that I have to sit down with a pen and a paper and sound out the rhymes and try to get the mood of what I want to say. I'll write like a really emotive piano melody and then throw in the words after that. But usually inspiration just flows. It's something that's instantaneous and doesn't take too long.
That is really beautiful. I remember at one point in time you were telling me how you wrote the songs for yourself as
Hmm.
part of, I guess, some of your despair or sorrows or to get past some of the hurdles. And I think that's really interesting. And can you tell us a little bit more about how your music has first worked healing in your life and then you shared it with everybody else?
Absolutely. Yes. Well, for me, like I said, it's a way that I self-soothe. Um, it brings me a lot of comfort to be able to sing and to feel that within my body. Um, then when I shared it with other people and I realized that it had that effect on them too, it kind of opened my eyes because I did not realize that I was using it as medicine for myself until it started working for other people. And then I realized, oh, wow, I've really been using this tool as a medicine for quite a while. So that was kind of awesome, a cool transition.
That is really cool, especially to have the awareness afterward. I think a lot of times in our journeys of being human, we're going through situations and not realizing at the time what we're doing. I know in my own spiritual awakening process, I was just saying yes to this, yes to that, and I had no idea the healing that was coming from each of these. It was just something that felt right to do at the time. Um,
Yeah.
and it kind of sounds like your music has been that for you and then just channeled out. That is incredible. And you have two albums, correct?
Yes.
That is fantastic. Both of those will be up to listen to on the YouTubes and hopefully indefinitely so that it can be shared with everybody. Um,
Yes.
so we went kind of like beginning phases of hearing about your heart defect and then processing that. And so it's been a little over a decade now. And
Hmm.
through this decade, besides music, how have you processed through this over the years to come to where you are now and being so peaceful?
It really has been community that's helped to lift me up. I've never felt alone. And so that's played a huge part in it, is knowing that I have people that and loved ones around me at all times. That's just a very visceral feeling that I feel very fortunate to have. I know a lot of people are alone at this time in their life. And so I really see Christ reflected through other people, especially during this time of my life. And so that brings me a lot of peace and comfort.
That's amazing. Um, Can I tell the audience about your party we had for you?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
So we have another friend, and she came up with this great idea and said, let's do a good pie party while Chelsea's still here. And there was approximately 30 people that showed up, but I guarantee you there are hundreds of people that Chelsea knows and has changed lives, but these are just the ones that could make it at said time. And we all got to commune together and eat, and everybody had a minute to just shower onto Chelsea anything that they wanted to say and all the love or ways that she has touched their lives. And it was the most beautiful thing to really be able to experience. And I hope that more people out there, before their physical body passes, have the opportunity to gather in a room with the people that they have touched in their life and get to hear how much they have mean to different people. I can only imagine how great that made you feel.
Yeah, it was a little overwhelming, but it was in a good way for sure. It was like a love bomb.
Yeah, I bet. Um, So are you getting many people that visit you at this point right now? What is it like for you going through these current stages of having been put on hospice?
I'm at home a lot more lately, and so I'm really relying on people to come and visit me. Um, it's been ever since a Facebook post was posted in our community, it's been a pretty constant trickle of people, which has been really cool. But we recently had a little snowpocalypse here in Texas, so I've been riding out the weather with just me and my dog for a while.
Yeah. What do you do to fill up your free time?
I watch a lot of YouTube. I love music and I like making playlists. I watch a lot of like TikToks, like funny TikToks to just keep my mood elevated. And then there's this really cool series on Netflix called Arcane, and they're not a paid sponsor, but they are, it is a beautiful show.
I'll have to check it out. Uh,
Yeah, it's colorful.
okay. I'm in the middle of something else I just clicked on. I don't even remember the name of it, but I'm watching it. But I'll check out Arcane. Yeah. Um, so, what is your favorite way to like really feel embodied? I'm guessing I might know the answer, but go for it.
Yeah, it's definitely got to be singing. I mean, um, also I like standing in the shower for long periods of time. That helps a lot. But singing really gets me into the present moment. It helps a lot to just drop in and be where I'm at with my body, wherever that is. And like today, I have a raspy voice, so taking care and just, um, you know, paying attention to all the different nuances of the body. And I love singing. It's like a meditation for me. Um, but yeah, standing under the shower for like going to King Spa and like standing under the shower for like 45 minutes is like my jam.
Just for those of you who don't know what King Spa is, it's in DFW, and it is like it's this Korean style bathhouse with all these different hot rooms. My favorite one's this pyramid gold room, but they've got salt rooms and crystal rooms and charcoal rooms, and so hot you melt as soon as you step in rooms, and a nice room to cool down. And then in their locker rooms, they have like jacuzzis, lots of showers, a cold plunge, a steam sauna, and then other amenities and stuff you can buy. Flipping awesome. Like 50 bucks you get to spend all day in there. And so just so you know, it's a really cool place to go if you're in DFW and spend some time and just get back with yourself.
Yes.
On another tangent, um, I would imagine that your body feels a lot of pain. So do you end up dissociating and having to come back? How do you manage?
I'm actually really blessed to not be in any pain at all. I'm not sure how that is happening for me. It's amazing. They do provide a comfort kit in hospice with a number of medications to help with things like pain. The main thing I struggle with is shortness of breath. And so they actually give you morphine for that. It helps open up the airways and just makes breathing easier. So I've been dealing with having to take really strong medications like that, which makes me nauseous. So that can be difficult. Just navigating how to take these medications, when to take these medications, and when I do, how to navigate the symptoms of those medications also. So that's pretty new to me in like the last 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay. And just want to reiterate for the audience, you are living alone right now and
Yes,
doing everything all by yourself. Like this is
yes,
how much of a powerhouse she is that she got put on hospice and is living and doing all of the regular home crap you got to do when you live by yourself and still functioning. So that's really amazing.
I
Um,
have a lot of help. I have a lot of help,
oh,
like
that's
people that
good.
come over and help me clean and help me change the sheets on my bed and things like that. So that's a blessing.
That makes me so happy to hear. I'm glad that you have all that support and just different people coming and showering this love on you. That is amazing. Um,
Thank you.
so we'll kind of wrap this up. Do you have any kind of wise words that you would like to leave the audience with? It could be anything that life has taught you. It could be in regards to what you're going through now. Any kind of wisdom you have.
Definitely. I would just say just find the medicine that works for you. The thing that I don't mean literal pill or medicine. I mean the gift that you have within yourself that gives back to you. If you can find something or many things like that, to share with not only yourself but others, the world would be a much better place. That's what I think. So don't be afraid to shine. You're amazing. You've got so much potential that you're already living out in this moment. It's just time for us to realize that. So, um, how exciting.
Oh, that's so beautiful. And I really appreciate you sharing from your heart today and letting people in and kind of see a little bit of a process. And those are really beautiful words on medicine. I'll probably do an episode and just talk about the wisdom of medicine and really go more in depth because I think it's a
Yes,
beautiful thing to wrap your head around and learn about, especially when you're on a journey of learning more of life and growing.
yes, absolutely.
So, I know we can find you on YouTube. Is there anywhere else that the audience can find you or connect with you and your music or your story?
YouTube is it for right now.
Okay, awesome. Well, we will put a link in the show notes. Thank you so much. I appreciate I love you. Thank you for being on. Well, folks, that's all we have for you today on That's Just Human. Stay kind, stay you, and remember that everything is part of the process. Post-production Elisha here today. This podcast has taken me quite a long time to get enough interviews before I was comfortable to launch. And this is my second episode, but my first interview that I did. So it's been several months since I interviewed Chelsea. And sadly, she left this earth on March 3rd, 2025. And I'm going to leave you with one of her songs in loving memory so you can hear her voice. But please feel free to check out the legacy and the beauty that she left us on YouTube under Wind Song Movement and use her songs to help your own personal growth. I promise they really help, especially being comforting in times when you're just having a rough emotional landscape or life has gotten a little hard, the songs really, really help. So here I leave you with her song, which is one of my favorites. Well, I like them all, but I really like this one. I think it's a message to all of us, and it's called Starlight.
You